If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. With Anchor, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will literally distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything that you need to make a podcast in one place. And the best thing about Anchor is, it's all free. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Yo, what's the deal? This your main man, Will.
I'm Coco for Cocoa Puffs, JordyGee.
And you know it. It's your boy, Showtime, coming through as AKA Obama's big brother. Shout out to my little bro. He doing his thing. AKA Ratchet City hometown hero. And AKA you better vote, because a voteless people is a hopeless people.
And you are now tuned into the I'ma Let You Finish podcast, a collection of three blessed, black, and highly favored young men discussing savory topics, the word on the street, and some social dialogue. Yeah.
Woo! Hey, Jordan, I got something to tell you.
Go ahead.
A lot of people tell me they be messing with your intros.
Hold up, you said people be messing with my intros?
Yeah, they like, dog, Jordan intros are so funny.
Bro, that's crazy.
It's because they're random. They're actually they're great. I mean, you come up with the best slogans and intros and just jingles, man. You good at that stuff. I'm terrible at it. Mine just be like, I'm Will, what's the deal, pickles, whatever.
Oh.
You might can work for like a jingle station. You ever watch Jamie Foxx?
Yeah.
Jingles 2000? What was it,
Yeah.
Jingles 2000?
Oh my gosh.
Jingles 2000?
Yeah, he's working for that jingles place.
It was an episode, and him and the girl, I forgot the actress name, but they was going back and forth singing little jingles and stuff. Man, he was going tough.
Yeah. Jamie Foxx is cold.
Yeah, facts.
He cold.
Jamie Foxx is super. He's triple talented. He's amazing. Like he's to me, he's overlooked as an actor.
Yeah, he pretty good. He really good.
You say he's overlooked as an actor?
Yeah, I mean, to me at least. But I don't know. People don't just like put him in a category like good actors. People just kind of be like, man, Jamie Foxx is pretty good. He's talented, but they don't be like, oh my God, he's an amazing actor. I mean, I feel like people say it, but it's not like he don't be in like great actor conversations like that.
I feel that. They don't know when they mention the best, they don't mention his name.
Yeah, well, I mean, I won't say the best, but just like good, like great actors when we putting on like people on like a list, I guess.
Is he better than Will Smith?
No.
Is he better than Denzel?
I wouldn't say so, but I feel like he's in their caliber. He's in there.
Dude, be quiet.
Yeah.
Denzel so cold, boy.
Be quiet, dude. Stop.
Denzel
quiet.
so cold.
Jamie Foxx is up there, bro. Y'all.
Jamie, nah, he is.
Come on, man.
Bro,
he ain't up there with Denzel.
He's in there. He in that realm.
Bro,
He's not up there with Denzel though.
I'll say.
I'm just saying, like, what you don't think like Will Smith and Denzel around the same realm?
This is what I feel like. I feel like Jamie Foxx is somebody that can hold his own, but he's not the best. So, like, if you're going to get somebody, I'm always making sports references. If you're going to get somebody that's better than you, but you can hold your own, but he's clearly better than you, you get respect for that. So he's somebody that can hold his own, but he's clearly not better than the best. But he's not nobody that can be easily looked over because he's not going down easily. That's how I see Jamie Foxx.
I could give you that. I can just give you my opinion of what I think, of course. But yeah, that's what I think. I think Jamie Foxx is top tier, man. I don't think he's B list. I don't think he's C list. I
nah.
think he's A list, man.
Oh, he definitely
He's A
A-list.
list to me. And
He
Bro,
definitely
I would put Jamie Foxx on like the B tier of acting. S tier being the top.
okay. You said S tier is the top?
Yeah, S tier. You got S, A, B, C, D, E, F.
Oh wow, yes, that sounds fancy.
what
Yes,
what what did you get
Yeah.
S from?
I'm on the S tier of
It's like
acting.
I honestly think it's an anime thing. I'm not positively sure though. I've only watched one anime, so
Okay.
don't quote me on that.
Okay,
Oh, I'm
gotcha.
on the S tier of acting.
Yes, I'm on the S tier of acting. I'm S for star.
Dog,
Stardom, baby.
S for
get
star.
That boy about to let a cover go on you. He kind of pulled it back.
I did.
Everybody about to let a cover go.
I'm about to fire him up, boy. I'm about to fire him up, but I'm good.
Man, like
Oh
y'all
my
been seeing
goodness.
like literally like people have been having like little like they've been having like movie reads and like TV show reads and stuff like over like actually like over the internet and stuff like that. So it's like we still in COVID, bro. Y'all realize that?
Yeah, it
Yes,
sucks.
yes.
We
Sucks.
literally like son, think about like February and March when we first heard about this. Like we really took it as a joke, like a big joke. Like this is really crazy. And what we now in October now, we really thought it was gonna be gone by like May, June. We thought it was gonna be back to eating in restaurants. We thought it was gonna be back to just being outside without masks on. We just thought we thought it was a game, bro. I just looked back and thought I really thought it was a game.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's depressing, honestly.
Honestly, that was that whole thing. Was like, yeah, black people can't get COVID-19. Turns out we can get it overwhelmingly.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm not proud of that time.
Big facts.
I'm not proud of that. That is. Well,
I really.
what'd you say?
Never mind. Go ahead.
No, Joe. What you got to say?
Nah, I was gonna say like I really sometimes I forget. Like I don't know, like I'll go in Walmart or something and I'll have my mask on. And then like I'll remember why I have my mask on. And I'm like, dang, like it's COVID. Like it's COVID season. So
It's
I
just
gotta wear my mask.
it's become a part of life. It's so crazy. You're gonna look back 10 years and people are gonna look at pictures from 2020 and they be like, why y'all had all them damn masks on? Like, oh, it's because
But they gonna look back at 2020 period and be like, what the hell was going on in
what was
2020?
is the devil? That's what was going on, man. This
Boy,
is the
I'm
devil's
telling you,
year, man.
On everything, bro.
they
This
gonna
ain't
look back at
nothing.
2020. They gonna look like, how the heck y'all survived that? Cause man, y'all had a lot going on in
Everything.
2020.
This is our Great Depression.
Man, it's
This
a
is
lot.
this is our Great Depression. Yeah, this is terrible.
I need me a grill.
A bottom one.
Yeah.
Yes, you talking about in your mouth, right?
Yeah, dude.
I
Okay,
definitely was like, this thing will cook up some chicken, man. I definitely was
okay,
thinking that.
boy, that bottom one.
You cracking.
Ooh, that bottom one would be heat. I want that bottom one
On
too, though.
everything.
Man, that bottom one will be smoked. I want that
It's
bottom one
cool.
myself.
Coming soon.
Yeah,
Coming.
I think it'll hit. I think it'll look good on you, man.
Will used to wear a grill.
Appreciate that. All love.
Yeah, bottom
I
one.
remember that.
It was just a little gold one, a little something like that. I couldn't wear it all the time though, you know. I just used to wear it to like functions and stuff.
No, I mean,
It gives
I do the same.
a certain appearance, you know.
It helped me
Yeah,
with the
I
women.
do the same.
It did actually a little bit. I got a spike to be honest. A lot of people
Okay.
told me, and it was like, no, I really like that girl on you. Like
Okay.
in the real soft, smooth, sultry way. And I was like, I'm messing with that. I gotta wear this girl more often.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, the ladies mess with it. So most definitely, we're gonna get into our topics though, because I'm leading the topics today. Because today we're talking about trauma and mental health and all that. We're talking about childhood trauma, especially, and because I have my degrees in psychology, I am best fitted to lead this. But yeah, today we're gonna be talking about how childhood trauma affects who we are. You know, you may run into some people in your relationships, some of your friends they may just have like, it seems like they got a chip on their shoulder, or it just seems like they have some unresolved things that are kind of mental, or some things that are emotional. And you may wonder, where did they get this from? Like, they've been like this like ever since I known them, like since I was a kid. And sometimes based on this trauma that we experience, and some of the sharp edges of our personalities kind of come from childhood trauma that we experienced when we were kids. So, fellas, how do y'all think childhood trauma affects who we are, and just kind of how we interact with other humans from day to day?
It has a huge effect on it has a huge effect on you. Like I didn't notice until I got to college, actually a few years in, that I was flawed in a lot of different areas. And people would tell me like, "Hey, bro, you kind of such and such and such and such," and like, "Oh, bro, you kind of acting such and such and such and such." And I'm like, I mean, I guess, bro. I mean, I apologize with the woo, and then went to the side and kind of just reflected on my actions or what I said or just the type of person I was, and I was like, man, like I really think I get a lot of this from my parents, and so yeah, that's how I feel about it, bro.
What do you feel like you got from your parents? If you don't mind me asking, if you feel like saying it.
One thing about myself that I can say that I've gotten better on is being more open minded. Um, I was a very closed minded person, and I know I got that from my parents. Whether it was like jewelry, like nose ring, tattoos, earrings, stuff like that. My family, not my family, but my mom and dad don't mess with stuff like that. And just the other day, I went to my mom's crib and we were chopping it up, and I told her that I was going to Claire's, and she was like, "Why are you going to Claire's?" And I was like, "I want to get a second piercing, like in my ear, in both ears." And she was just like, "Jordan, you don't need to do that. You're gonna look like this, you're gonna look like that." You know what I'm saying? Just kind of like criticizing me. And I really thought to myself, like, dang, my why can't you just, let me do what I want to do? You know what I'm saying? Kind of just like support my decisions, especially if they're not too far off, you know what I'm saying, the spectrum. And so growing up, I definitely learned how I was closed minded, how I got it from my people, and how I needed to improve and not judge a situation like on how it appears to me. Like other people have different opinions on this too, and I have to respect that opinion and just move in that manner.
Yeah, I like that. I like
Yeah,
you being open right with that. I like that.
for sure,
I
for sure, for sure.
appreciate that.
All love.
So for me, so childhood drama to me, like I feel like it affects who people are as adults overall. So you don't realize it as you're growing up because you're going through some stuff, and sometimes we all young men are expected to just, and young women, not just trying to exclude anyone. People are just expected to just roll with the punches, especially black people. Like black people are expected to just take it how it is and just still persevere and make it. However your situation is, they expect you to still make it. And when you want to address your childhood traumas or any trauma that you have, sometimes people can look at you, especially the older generation. They can look at it as weak. So it can go years without even being addressed. And a lot of times, for people that's out there that watch the show Lovecraft, I seen something that they kind of touched on that on the last episode, episode 9. They the guy Tick's father, he used to get beat as a child for how he was.
Mm,
So in return, he beat his child.
mm,
And Tick never, like, he never understood, like, why are you like beating me? He just beat him, and he was like, why are you beating me? And he never knew why until on the episode. If you watch, I'm not kind of spoiling anything, but they kind of went back in time, and and Tick was actually got to experience what his dad went through, and he seen that his dad used to get beat. So that maybe, and that kind of, he never healed from that as a child. So in essence, he grew to be a man and grew to be a father, so he beat his own child. And a lot of times, a lot of childhood dramas never get addressed in the black community. A lot of times we speak about creating generational wealth. That's like a thing people do now. Like, I'm gonna create generational wealth for me and my family and so on. But we never talk about healing childhood dramas. We just kind of look past that. We don't never want to address that. And a lot of times, I think, honestly, my opinion on it is, I think people don't want to address. They don't want to address something that's wrong with them, like something that's wrong with them, and they look at it as a negative, and they don't want to speak on something that sees them as a negative light. So, me in particular, if I deal with childhood drama that made me do certain things as I get older, instead of addressing that and accepting that, I kind of just push it off and be like, oh nah, I'm good. Oh nah, that ain't happened to me. Instead of being like, nah, that did affect me and that did shape who I am. But I'm willing to address it and move forward from it and grow better. So moving forward, I won't have that same way. Just like how I said in Lovecraft, how it went from Tick and his father from his grandfather to his father to him, instead of realizing what went wrong and changing it. Because in essence, Tick can grow to be a father, and he can be his son, and it'll be a never ending cycle until it's addressed, until they heal from it, until they feel like what's wrong with it, and move forward. And that's just something just to start it off, because I'm not trying to talk too much, because it's a lot to talk about. But I want Will to be getting here, because I know he's a psychology major and he may have more to say, and I'm not trying to talk too much.
Yeah, for sure. No, I appreciate both of you guys kind of look on things, your lens from which you kind of come from it, personally, because definitely, like, we know, like, all types of different trauma really they affect us in different ways, and you can look at it from like this. When I was a kid, I tasted cauliflower once and I hated it from then on. I tasted it as a kid and I didn't like it. It was a very terrible experience for me. Also the same with sushi. And I don't eat cauliflower to this day because I ate it when I was a kid once and I was like, no, I don't like that. That, and it affected me today. Like, I don't eat it now because I didn't eat it as a kid. And also the same with sushi. I actually grew to like sushi a lot, but it was just because of the experience I had when I was a kid. It kind of, it stopped me from trying to experience it as an adult because it was a traumatic experience for me. I mean, not like huge or anything, but it was still in a way a traumatic experience to where I didn't like the experience that I was having with the food. So if we look at it from that type of lens, like we have things like food and experiences that we have when we're kids, such as tasting a bad food and you don't eat it now as an adult. You can only think about more serious things that we experience, more trauma that we experience as kids, and in our childhood lives that we bring into our adult lives. And we say either we're not going to try something, or we're afraid of something, or we don't communicate, or we just don't express parts of ourselves because we weren't allowed to either do that when we were children, or there was a traumatic event that stopped us from doing that. And we just never really got over it. I think it was a really good part that Jordan talked about, to where he felt like, one of his parents hampered him from, kind of doing the things that he wanted, such as getting, just another piercing. And I think sometimes when you have an environment to where our parents or our family kind of hamper us from doing something, they stop us from doing something. It can be all the difference to where we grew up and we're like, we're not gonna do nothing. Like we because we're afraid of what our parents are gonna think, we're afraid of what our friends are gonna think. We're just afraid of that just in general. And I think something that you guys maybe didn't touch on was in childhood, we have a lot of influences from school that a lot of school trauma that we get into. I'm not so much going to talk about like parental trauma with myself, but I can definitely talk about most definitely the trauma that I felt at school. Growing up, I was a chubby kid, so kids are mean. I
if there's one thing that kids are, man, kids are mean. So
Middle school kids are
what?
hell.
Oh my God, they like little tiny Hitlers, like little tiny Hitlers,
Bastards.
like oh my God. So and it's like the filter between their brain and their mouth, there is none. So it's like, middle school kids would just say whatever they want. They call you chubby, fat, whatever made them feel good at that time, they would say it, just whatever they wanted to say, not realizing that has repercussions, um, for us as adults, for the other person that you're actually talking to, the person that you're saying these things to, that has repercussions to them. Because even though I've lost weight in the past, even though I've lost weight now, I still look at myself as an overweight man, I may, and even like in high school when I got skinny, like I was actually skinny, and I still thought of myself as a little chubby. Some people even say it. I'm like, I look back on it and I'm like, dang, like I was actually skinny back then, and now I'm like actually like I'm actually a little chubby. Like now like when I gained the freshman 15 in college, I was like, dang, I was worried about myself back then, but I'm actually like I didn't actually gain some pounds now, so I can appreciate how I used to actually look and see that the trauma it never stopped me from believing something that people told me I was, which I actually wasn't, and stopped me from actually loving myself like I should have. So most definitely, we can get into psych theory and all that, but it's just the traumas that we face. And just one more thing with your parents. Your parents, I've said this in the past episodes. Your parents are the base foundation for how you trust, how you interact with humans, how you interact with other people. So sometimes they may not even realize that they're affecting you in a certain way, but how you treat your kids and how you deal with your kids, how you speak to your kids is how they're gonna initially grow up and treat other people. So if you have kids out there, if you're a parent, pay special and close attention to how you speak to your kids, how you raise your kids, because once they're grown up, the damage is done.
And they remember
True.
everything.
Everything.
True.
I had seen one thing that said the lady was like, raise your hand if, cause pretty much she was saying this. What she was saying, that she's a doctor and she works at a hospital, of course, and she said she was getting a lot of children to come in and they were getting hit with ADHD, and it's like she was like, why are all these kids having ADHD? So she started looking into it. And she said a theory once that she was taught was a lot of times doctors would do if you live in a city and it's a drinking well and 100 people drink from the drinking well and 99 of them have diarrhea, and what the doctor would do is write a prescription for each one of those people for diarrhea, to heal their diarrhea. And she said the problem is, instead of writing a prescription for each one of them to heal the diarrhea, she said you need to go see what's wrong with the drinking well. What's coming out that drinking well that's causing all these people to have diarrhea, instead of trying to fix the person. And she tied that to like people living in certain neighborhoods, and she didn't even tie it to like being poor or being black or being white or anything. She just tied it to just people living in certain neighborhoods where they got to deal with alcoholic father or abusive mother or abusive grandmother, like people that deal with stuff like that. And what she said was, if you were out in the woods and you seen a bear, you have, Will may know the name of it because I'm not a psychologist, maybe like Will, but she said you have like the fight or flight trigger that goes off in your head.
Yeah.
And she said when that trigger goes off in your head, your first instinct is either to fight the bear or run from the bear. And she was saying that's if you're out in the woods and you're dealing with the bear. She said, imagine that trigger going off every day at home when your parents come home, and every day that trigger goes off in your head. She said it goes off so much in your head that at one point it comes null and void, that you don't even know when it's going off or not. It's like every day for you. And she said that's how a lot of kids grow up with ADHD, because they can't comprehend what's going on in their life no more. So stuff like certain stuff will happen where somebody may just be playing with them and they may just push them, just jokingly playing, and they snap.
Mm.
And she was just like, the kid not even realizing why they're acting like that. The kid just reacting. But them going through that trauma every day of their own household cause them to cause triggers in their minds to go off certain ways where they can't react how like I'm gonna say normal person, like they're not normal, but how a reasonable person would react. It caused them to react in a volatile way because they're so used to trying to defend themselves. They're so used to trying to fight for themselves that even if somebody attacked them in a playful way, they so quick to attack. And I know, and I dealt with kids before, and I see that a lot. I see a kid just snap real fast, and I be like, dog, what's wrong with you? Like, what's going on? And he be like, he took my snack, and I play with nobody taking my snack. I'm telling him I'm gonna kill him. And I be like, dog, you gonna kill him over a snack? Oh my mama, I'm gonna kill him. And I'll be like, dog, what's going on? I said, you can have my snack. It ain't that serious. But in his mind, it is that serious. And his reaction, from his reaction, he's showing it is that serious. But it's not just that moment that did that. It's trauma that he been dealing with in his life that been grown on him over time, that caused him to react like that. But when he react like that, instead of dealing with the trauma that caused him to act like that, he go get in-school suspension. He go get suspended from school. He'll get kicked out of school. Like, he'll get consequences from that instead of somebody coming to him and be like, let's fix that well that caused him to act like that. Instead of feeling like he the problem, let's find out what caused him to act like that. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that was a good explanation, bro.
Yeah, bro, I found that researching. For real.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. Like we honestly, and back in the day, you remember like the whole thing. Like, this may have been before our time, but we still got the remnants of it. Kids were supposed to be seen and not heard. You know.
Yeah.
What your child felt back in the day, it was your child didn't have feelings. You know, you did whatever you want. They were your child. Like, I'm gonna do what I want to my child because that person is that's my child. You don't tell me how to raise my child. Like, my child is my child or whatever. So, like, I know back then it was like there wasn't a big emphasis on how kids felt. You know, kids were just kids. You know, they could take it, just throw some dirt on it. You know, that whole thing. And I think it's very important with what Matt said about the fight or flight reflex. Sometimes your fight reflex can be used so many times, and it's actually not healthy for your fight or flight reflex to be just used over and over and over again, because it is a reflex, and that reflex can basically just shut off. And that we see this happen in urban places when, say, you hear a gunshot every day. Of course, you're gonna run from it, and you have your fight or flight. But you're in your house and you hear a gunshot, you don't run, because you hear a gunshot every day. It starts to change something into you to where you're not afraid, or you're not. That's just how life is, and that's kind of comes out in adults sometimes with these dudes. They're hard, and they don't take death seriously. They don't take violence seriously. It's kind of all a game to them, you know, because they grow up in this system to where, like, they have to survive, of course, and if they're scared over every gunshot, every piece of violence that they see, they won't make it. So it's not necessarily their fault that, you know, they feel like they have to survive and they can't be scared, and they just kind of have to, you know, do it how they do. You know, they partner gets shot, they got to shoot the other this other dude, or they have to just kind of, the violence is a get back type of game, and it don't affect them in no type of way. I mean, it affects them a little bit, but you know, you grow up and you have, like, you know, your friends that get shot and stuff like that. It starts to have a callous effect on your feelings, on your heart. And, you know, there's some men in relationships that can't exactly express their feelings. It's because in society, we're told as men to kind of dull our feelings down. You know, you're a man, you're not supposed to feel things.
Be a man.
So that works all into the trauma that we feel. We're not allowed to feel our trauma, and like Matt said, that happens to Black people as well too. we black. We don't have time to feel trauma. We black. We don't have time to we don't have the luxury of feeling pain because we got the next hurdle to get over. So I mean, I think that just happens. That's like trauma. We don't get to actually feel what we need to feel in order to be able to communicate it effectively, to be able to express it effectively. So you grow up with adults that can't express their feelings correctly or effectively. They don't want to because they feel it's not worth it, or some people can't. Like I've been in relationships with women that just can't. They just say I don't know.
As far as you
Because
said, as far as expressing their feelings.
expressing their feelings,
Okay.
how they feel in the moment. I ask you, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? I get it. I don't know. And I know they feel some type of way about it because I've learned their facial and their body language, but there's such an anxiety about sharing your feelings. And that goes back to the kid's supposed to be seen and not heard.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, you don't have a say so. You don't get to say how you feel about something, because if you say how you feel about something, you're now talking back. You're now talking back to your
You in
parents.
grown folks'
So
business.
you in grown folks' business. If you say how you feel about a certain subject, if you say that you don't agree with something makes you uncomfortable, that you don't have no say so. So say that happens to you over and over and over and over again. You don't want to speak about your feelings because you've been shut down over and over and over again.
Mm.
And we talked about this like it all this links together. When you've been rejected over and over again, that doesn't make you want to just keep on doing
Nope.
something. When that's a learn, they call that in psychology learned helplessness. So learned helplessness is basically when you learn you learn to not just to not care, to not do, because you're stuck in this state to where you understand that you're not going to be able to do anything about it.
True.
So you're in this learned helplessness state, though, to where I can't say nothing about how I feel. I can't say nothing because my mom gonna strike me down, my dad gonna strike me down because they're gonna say I'm a kid and I gotta stay in a kid's place.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there's a lot to unpack, but I just kind of kept thinking of things that just kind of really, really, really affect us as children, and how the landscape of especially the Black family is, to where we as kids we're not really allowed to say much and express how we feel for fear of it, of us actually just being labeled talking back.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna treat my kids differently than what I was given. Not saying it was like super bad. It wasn't super bad, but I just I wanna make sure they can communicate with me, and like I can communicate with them. I definitely want to leave the line of communication open so that they'll feel
Oh,
comfortable talking to their father and their mother about different things that they're feeling.
and not to feel judged on that thing they want to talk to you about.
Yeah, facts. I know
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
a lot of the
exactly.
times when I was younger, now, like in this present time, my mom she would tell anybody, well, I let my children express themselves any kind of way. I let them say what was on their mind as long as they weren't disrespectful. And every time she say that, I look upside her head crazy. Like, Mom, no, you didn't. You did not do that. No, you did not. if as soon as I say something, get popped in the mouth, or she would mush me. Oh gosh, I hate that is oh my gosh, it brings back horrible, horrible memories. But bro, it's crazy.
PTSD.
I literally hate being mushed. Like that will ignite a flame in me. But anyway,
That's crazy.
I look upside her head crazy, like, Mom, I know you didn't say that. But she say it so much, it just roll over my head now because I'm already knowing, as soon as I said something, I was out of line automatically. So yeah, I definitely don't want to be like that.
Facts. That's just to speak on my childhood as well. So, the one thing that I think, one thing I think that I got from my childhood as that I didn't get was I don't get my hopes up. like on anything.
Mm.
So I don't get too high. I don't get too low. I'm just even keel. So I don't get my expectations cause when I was young, I get my hopes up, just like any kid. Like if somebody tell you they go do something for you, you happy, you excited, you proud, you like yeah. Then when it falls through, you like then you all in a slump, you all sad,
Thanks.
and that happened to me so much that I was just like I remember the moment. When I was in high school, I was like, dog, I'm not getting my hopes up for nothing else again. And it kind of just turned into trained behavior. I was just like, I'm not getting my hopes up for nothing again. I said, if it happened, cool. If it don't, cool. But I'm not letting that. I'm not getting sad again over something for somebody else falling through on a plan for me. And I feel like that stuff we learn, and it shouldn't be like that. Like kids are kids. Kids should be excited for stuff. Kids should get happy for stuff. Like I know a lot of people like to feel like they grown at like 16, 17, but you got a lot of living left. You still a child at 16, 17, 18, 19.
Mm-hmm.
Like you still a child and you still and that's not a bad thing. People take being a child as a bad thing. Like being young is a beautiful thing. People would trade to be young anytime. Like a lot of people would trade that. So youth is a beautiful thing, and a lot of people look at being young or being called a child as a bad thing. Like if somebody's trying to son you, that's different. Like if somebody's trying to disrespect you and son you, that's different. But I'm talking about like actual being a young person and being 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. Like don't feel like you have to grow up. And a lot of times people do have to grow up. And cause they don't have a support system at home where they have to like leap like a lot of y'all may seen it. Just to touch on this real fast, y'all may seen it. A lot of people in our generation, crazy enough, our parents, well, at least where I'm from, they'll be like, by the time you 18, you either got a job or you got to move out. By the time you 18 now, you got to start paying bills. By the time you 18, or you got to move out, cause ain't no grown man go be in my house and not pay no bills at 18, right? And you thinking like, dang, like I just graduated high school and you tell me I gotta take on this right now? I can't chill. No, you got either you going to high school, either you going to college or you getting a job. Either one. But one of them gotta happen now. Or you can't stay here. You can't have time to make your mind up here. You gotta make your mind up somewhere else. Cause making your mind up, you ain't got time for that. And like a lot of kids deal with that. Like I see a lot of kids talk about that a lot. Like they were told that either they go get a job or they go into college right now. They don't have time to just after they just finish high school just feel what they want to do. Like you don't and I'm not saying all parents like that. We never speak in absolute. We're not saying all and every. I'm just speaking from situations that I know for sure that people have told me for sure that I've seen with my own eyes for sure that it has happened to people. And I think that's something that mess a lot of children up too. Like when they're growing up, they give them trauma when they get older. And just to speak on that, about the last thing, the childhood trauma as far as generational trauma, it lingers on from generation to generation. So like how I was saying about Tick and his father, like he got beat by his father, so he beat Tick, and Tick, if who knows if he gonna do it to his son, but his grandfather probably was beat, and it's like it lingers on from generation to generation, and it's never addressed. That's the thing. Like in order for it to be addressed, people just gotta have like an honest conversation with themselves. They gotta show compassion. They gotta have acceptance. They gotta willing to accept change behavior, and it's not easy because you pretty much telling someone how you felt they treated you as you was growing up, and they're gonna get upset and they're gonna get mad and they're gonna not take it willingly, and it's gonna be hard to have that conversation with some people, but it's a conversation that needs to be had because in order for it to change, it has to be addressed first. And I learned that myself. Like people sometimes think they say time heals all wounds, so they feel like if something bad happened, let's let some time pass by and it'll go away. That's not true. Like you have to address something. I can't cuss Jordan out, call him everything but a child of God, tell him he ain't this, he ain't that, and be like, don't talk to him for like a month, right? And see him like a month later and be like, everything cool.
Oh no, that's dead.
Thinking like just because let's say a year go by and I feel like, oh, that was a year ago. Why you still tripping about that? Let that go. Yada yada yada. Why you upset? Like I'm getting upset at you for being upset with me for me treating you like a dog. It's like what?
Happens all the time,
How
bro.
that work?
It's crazy. It's crazy, honestly. But like thinking about like the childhood trauma that we have, because like I said, once it's done, it's done. Like once teenagers, once adolescents have experienced this trauma, once you're stuck with it, like as a person, say I experienced some childhood trauma when I'm a kid, it's not up to my parents technically to fix it. Yes, if it's a relationship thing, yeah, it's between us to fix a relationship we have. But as an adult, I cannot rely on the excuse that, man, my parents used to beat me, so I'm now gonna treat you like
Yeah.
shit. I I'm gonna now beat you as my partner, or I'm not gonna treat you bad as my friend because my parents used to do this to me. As an adult, that's not a way to
It's
operate.
not.
Any way to
Nah.
operate. So
I have a question for y'all
basically,
too.
yeah.
Just real quick before you keep going, Will, not to cut you off. Because I know, Will, your parents been together for how long?
My parents have been together, what was it, September 10th, they were 1988. What is that? Almost, God, how long is that? I'm
At
terrible
least
at math.
20
What is that?
years?
40
Yeah.
years? 40 years?
40 years?
30 years? Maybe 40 years, yeah. Oh, no. What are we looking at? No, 30 years. 30 years, basically.
What about
31 years.
you,
31
Jordan?
years.
What's the question again?
How long have
How long
your
your parents
mom and
been
her
together?
husband been together?
I think like 15 to 20, somewhere up in there.
All right, so I just had a question for y'all, both y'all. So, do y'all feel like seeing two parents happily together? I'm not trying to speak for y'all family if they all happy or not. I pray that they are, but I'm just saying two parents happily together. Do y'all feel like that help you approach relationships a different way, or you feel like it wouldn't matter?
To each his own. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Like I think that low key just depends on what type of person you are. Like that's just something in you. Uh, I ain't had no pops growing up, but like my stepdad, he my real dad, but my stepdad technically. Um, I mean, he showed up later, but like my real dad, like real dad, biological father, him not being there, not being in the house, didn't affect me growing up at all. That wasn't like a concern
Mm-mm.
in my life. My mom, she knew how to play both roles. That was definitely one thing that she was good at, playing a man and a woman. Like, so me personally, I was straight. So that's just my insight on that question.
And you feel like having that relationship with your mom allow you to approach relationship with other women in a certain way, or you feel like it wouldn't matter either way? Let's
Uh,
say if you feel like your mom, like how you say your mom was on top of everything,
mhm.
if you feel like she wasn't on top of everything, do you feel like you still would approach a relationship you do the same way you are now?
Yes, I think so. I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
It's harder to think that though, because it's like you think of yourself as a completely different person. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
What about you, Will? You feel like your parents being together for 30 years help give you a certain image on how you feel like relationships should be? The only reason I'm asking this, 'cause I know I see it a lot, not for say with men, but with women. They'll judge their relationship they in now to how their father treated their mother or how their father treated them. I see women say that. Like, have you ever seen a woman say, you, I got to be treated like that because this how my dad did, or that's how my dad is, or however they say it. Like, have y'all ever seen that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've definitely heard that whole thing. Like, if my father treated me a certain way, I'm not gonna take anything less than
Yeah,
that. My father treated me this way. He treated me like a princess. I'm not gonna be treated any other way by any other
yeah,
man. So my father set a standard, and that's the standard that I'm going to live through.
Yeah.
Even though some of them don't hold up to that.
And
But I mean, it
I
doesn't
see the
matter.
way with the
It's the
women,
attempt.
as far as not the coach. I'm done at this. Well, just see with how they treat their mother, also his wife. They say the same way. They make that, like, my parents were together for 30 years, so that's what I want. Like, that's why I'm asking you. Like, do you feel like that's the expectation that you want for yourself, or do you feel like that helps shape how you approach relationships?
Yeah, I think it's very important that you have two parents, two loving parents in a household, that that you could see it. You can kind of see a model of how you should act in a relationship. And I think it's good to see that interaction too, that love that you see between two parents. So you can kind of get in. You can feel around how you're supposed to act in your relationship. And like I said, two parents that love each other. If you see two parents that are abusive to each other, they're never on good speaking terms. That it's the adverse effect of that. Like, it's the exact opposite. It'll teach you that you're supposed to yell in a relationship, that you're supposed to argue, that arguing is good, arguing is how you get places. But that's not exactly true. I don't argue. I don't argue in relationships. That's never been how I am. I don't raise my voice like that, because especially not with the women I'm in relationships with, because I don't feel that goes anywhere. But yeah, I think it's very important to see a role model, because not all of what we learn as a kid is biological. Like, I do appreciate Jordan's mom, because he is an amazing human being. He's an amazing young man. I love Jordan to death
Shout out
and
to
everything.
mama. Shout out to mama.
Shout out to the single
Y'all niggas
mothers.
funny, dude.
Let's
Appreciate
go,
that,
No,
though,
shout out
son.
to Jordan mama, particular. Shout out to Jordan mama.
Specifically Jordan mama, because like, that is a hard thing to do, to fill the role of both. But I still think it's like it's even better when you have two parents in the household that the man can show you how to kind of be a man, and how to treat a young lady. And I'm pretty sure he did have that. He did have that in the household that you were in. And you kind of you see that, and you model that, because like I said, everything that you get growing up, it's not all biological. Your personality is not all biological. Some of it is observational. Different theories and stuff like that say, they talk about observational learning, that some of what we are is environmental. It's not all biological. So we're as kids, we're sponges, and we just soak up what we see. So it may not be used right away, but I know there's some kids that they see daddy hit mommy, and they go to school and they hit a little girl on the playground, because that's what they saw. It's observational learning. It's what you saw in the household, and I think that's very integral. If you see love and you experience love, then when you grow older, that's what you're going to put out into the world. That's what you're going to put into your relationships, because you saw it. There's some people that where it has the adverse effect when they don't see love in the relationship. They say, I'm not going to act like that when I get older, and they swear against that, and they show love in their relationships, and they do the opposite of the bad practices that their parents might have put up, or whoever was in their household. So yeah, I think it's very important that we have stable, good parents in a household, or parent in a household. It doesn't matter, as long as you have a parental figure. Don't even have to be your biological parents. It could be a grandmother, it can be a cousin, it could be an uncle, whoever raised you. I think it's important that you see adults that operate. They show their feelings. They actually they're kind to one another, because you don't realize that you internalize so much of that when you actually get older. And when you get older, sometimes they'll be like your aunties and your grandma. They'll be like, you act just like your daddy, or you act just like your mama, or something like that, because you it's not all of it is biological. Some of it is observational. So you literally just you learned how to be them. So as you get older, you even see yourself sometimes. Like I start acting like my dad sometimes. certain things I do, I'm like, dang, that's my dad all the way. And not all of it is biological. Some of it is I grew up, and that's how I learned how to be a man. So it's just now coming out now when I am a man. So yeah, I think it's important. Just hands
I
up.
like that you
Yeah.
said that. That's the reason I asked. I wanted to know, like, do you feel like that image is good to see as a child growing up?
Most
Yeah,
definitely.
that's the reason I asked.
Most
Yeah,
definitely.
because I know some people don't get it, so I was wondering, like, doesn't matter if you get it or if you don't, you still gonna be who you are, or if you get it, it would actually help you and not hurt you. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that. So that that really answered my
Yeah,
question.
most definitely. So when we get into trauma, when we're talking about childhood trauma, like I said, it, when you get older, it's all on you. Like it's on 100% pretty much on you. It's not up to your parents to raise you anymore. If you're an adult, yes, they may have messed up, but that's kind of in the past now. So you cannot keep blaming your parents for how you act and your personality now that you can now change. So when we talk about that, the next question is, how do you overcome childhood traumas? You're an adult. It's time to do better for yourself. Yes, you may have been treated terribly when you were a kid, but how do you overcome that, Matt?
Crazy that you said that. If you dealing with trauma, it's not on your parents to overcome it now. Once you become an adult, you said it's on you now, right?
Yes, not only like I said, if it's a relationship between you and your parents that you need to fix, that's a relationship problem. But if it's specific things within your personality, you cannot blame your parents. You cannot blame your little cousins. You cannot blame your brother, sister on how you
Yeah.
act. I understand extreme cases like of people that were severely traumatized, but there's some smaller things on some smaller issues that people that you can definitely fix that in some ways, and even sometimes with the
What
bigger
that made me
issues.
think about, honestly, is I seen the speech one time where a guy was like, he was like pretty much like, I understand that in our everyday life we go through stuff. And I understand life can be hard. So if life knocks you down, I'm not judging you for that. He said my only issue is if life knocks you down and I go away for 20 years and I come back and you in that same knockdown spot, that's when I got a problem. So pretty much saying, like, if you let, like how you just said, it's not on you it's not on your parents to fix what they messed up about you. It's on you to then recognize what's going on and fix it yourself. And it's pretty much saying, like, yes, that childhood drama may have knocked you down, but you can't stay there forever. Pretty much what you were saying, Will. Yeah, at
Yeah,
some point you got to
yeah.
pick yourself up. You can't depend on nobody else to pick you up. At some point you got to pick your own self up and figure out how you go moving forward. And my thing is, it's easier said than done. At the end of the day, it's easier said than done, and it's not. And I don't believe. I'm not trying to speak for Will, but I don't believe he's saying it can be done overnight. And I'm not saying it can be done overnight. It's something that's going to take time. It's something that's going to be aggravating. It's something that's going to be that's going to take a lot of, probably some tears, probably some counseling, all that. And but it's something that you can see the light at the end of the tunnel once you get there. My only thing is that I spoke on it before. Is and I speak on it again. Is that pretty much dealing with it, but also realizing that it happened and addressing it and talking through it and moving from it. Because at the end of the day, like, if you go talk to if you was going to talk to your mom about what she did to you that caused you to be who you are, that conversation is not going to be pretty. At the end of the day, like, that's not going to be.
Odds are they're not even gonna know they
What'd you
did
say,
it.
Will?
Odds are they're not even gonna know they
Exactly.
caused
They
you any
probably not going
trauma.
to take any culpability for that. They could be like, no, that's
Bro,
not
that's gonna
me.
be a
Yeah,
huge
Didn't do that.
deflective conversation.
exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
That is,
huge,
oh my God,
That's
that is
they,
huge.
so bad. Oh my God. I've actually tried that.
Speaking on what Jordan said earlier, he said his mom likes to believe or likes to believe that she said she created an environment to where she let her children speak, and you saying that's not the
Yeah.
case because that's what you experienced. She may have think that she did that, but she in her reflexes in her just like wanting to be have you not be disrespectful, she shut that up real quick. But in her mind, she was like, "No, I think I allowed that." And sometimes, you get the whole parent
Ooh, all the time.
amnesia. The whole, oh no, I didn't, I did perfect by my kids. I did right, I did
Yes,
perfect. And yeah, you may have did good by your
Nah,
kids,
ain't
but you
nobody
weren't
gonna do
that's
perfect.
perfect.
that's the that's the
Nobody's perfect.
thing. That's the thing I'm speaking of. Like, we I agree with what you're saying as far as you can't use that as a crutch to be just rude the rest of your life. Like, you can't be like,
Yeah,
I was treated like this as a child, so since that happened, I'm cussing out everybody I ever talk to for the rest of my life. What? You
Crazy.
gonna do what?
You get hit.
no,
Yeah, I'm gonna cuss out.
no,
I'm gonna cuss out. Literally, I'm
stop
gonna
it.
cuss out everybody I come across with. They. That's the only way they gonna know if I love them for real. If I cuss them out. If I don't cuss you out, that mean I don't really like you.
Cause that's how I was in my that's how I was in my household, man. You just had to scrap to
Yeah,
get it, So we had to fight to get it. So that's how we show love. You couldn't be no sissy, you couldn't be no nothing, you just couldn't be no this, couldn't be no that. That's just how you had to do it. So that's how I grew up. That's how I operate.
craziness,
Nigga,
Yeah,
toxic.
craziness.
man.
So, but so I
Craziness.
agree with what you saying as far as that. Will my only thing is talking to the people that put you through the trauma. That I feel like that'd be the hardest part. Like how Jordan just said, that'd be the most deflecting conversation ever. Cause at the end of the day, people are not gonna want to take culpability for something like that. Like, someone is not gonna want to be. Not saying all people are like this. I'm just, when I speak for stuff, I'm speaking from my own personal experience, stuff that I actually seen or went through myself. Actually, like, when I say seen, I had a conversation with someone and they expressed this to me and they told me how it went, or I went through it myself and I experienced it firsthand. So when I speak of stuff, that's what I'm speaking from. And from my experience and from me talking to people that I know, when they try to talk to their parents or their grandparents or adults in their life, like aunts, uncles, older cousins, like, it's never a conversation of welcoming as far as like, hey, I feel like you the reason. I feel like you did this to me as a child, caused me to act like this, and I'm not coming at you in a disrespectful way. I'm not coming at you in a way that I want you to beg for my forgiveness. I just want to talk to you about it and express this to you so we can move past it, because I feel a certain way about you, but I want to move past it for my own mental health. And my only way I can move past it if we talk about it and just move on from it. People will look at that and be like, I'm not the reason you like that. You not, and they'll deflect. If
If
deflect,
anything,
deflect, deflect,
if
deflect.
you, deflect. If anything, you owe me for your existence.
Exactly.
Man.
You ever seen? I don't know if this is this. I can only say this from my black experience. But black parents, they make it seem like you owe them for them
Hey,
making you. They decided to lay down and make you, but they make it seem like them bringing you to the world was things you asked for. Like yeah, I had when I was wherever I was before I was born, I asked to be born by this specific person. So basically, I owe them my existence, and I need to, like, yes, you should give homage to your parents, but even after that, they feel like, no, like, after you done grown up, they're like, yo, well, you got to treat me to a dinner or something like that because I did raise you, and I did make sure that you was all right. I mean, I look at that as you were my parent. You're supposed to do that. Yes, I'm gonna thank you for that at the end of the day because that's how it's supposed to be. But when you take it so far, it's like you gotta. Oh no, you
they
gotta
go
give
hope.
you gotta you gotta get me back for that. Like
It's
you gotta
like
pay me back for that.
it's like
I
that. It's like me. I feel like, and I. It's crazy that you said that. Where sometimes I feel like we all grew up from the same playbook in a sense, because it's crazy how people from two different parts of their lives can experience same kind of
Mm-hmm.
issues.
Yeah, it's like there's this shared experience of certain households. Just because we're all human, we're all like we all kind of have the same. It's this shared culture, this shared experience that we have. That's why we can see those things on Twitter that said, it feel like we all lived the same
Yeah, I see
childhood,
that. I
right?
see that.
Because in a way we did,
And I see this. I see the one that's it's saying it's like is there a mother's playbook of like smart sayings? Because it's like all mothers say the same thing. All yeah, it's like is there a
Yes.
playbook that y'all get after birth? Like, all right, you having a baby boy. His name's gonna be Jordan. He's a beautiful bouncing baby boy. But before you leave, make sure you take the playbook of snappy comebacks. You memorize this playbook because by the time he
Yeah.
gets about 4 or 5, you gotta start hitting him with those snappy comebacks. So
He's gonna get testy, so you got to hit him with that. I'm gonna give
Dude.
you
there you
something to
go.
cry
Oh
about.
my.
Fix your
That boy
face
set
before
up.
I fix it for you. Don't come in here with that outside smell. You got to hit him.
It's
Beautiful
like they have
bouncing
Mother
baby boy.
Olympics.
Oh, I'm weak, dude.
They have Mother Olympics. Who could come up with this most
Yeah,
snappy?
yeah. It's the Mother Olympics. It's like there's big mother meetings that that's a new one. I'm gonna try that one. Fix your face. I'm gonna fix it for you. Oh,
I'm
that's the
writing it.
first
Hold
one.
on. You said
Or
fix. Fix it. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. And you do what you do it with your hand in the air.
Barbara, have you tried this one? Whatever they say, you just say it back to it. I'm gonna do that to you. I want to go to McDonald's. You better
Oh
McDonald's that
my
rum.
goodness.
Like, what? That
What
don't make
about?
no
Oh,
sense.
no, not even that one. You got McDonald's money.
Mm,
Say that one, and you gonna hurt
You
them.
got McDonald's money.
That's tough. That is tough. That McDonald's money is tough.
We got McDonald's at the house. We got white bread and ground
Well,
beef.
somebody be like, can we get McDonald's? You got McDonald's money? You just look down, put your
Like all you had to do is
and
say
put your
no.
head.
All you had to do is
I
say
don't
no,
have no
bro. Like you ain't
McDonald's
gotta
money.
do all that. You don't have to do all that extra stuff, bro.
I just want McDonald's. Like I'm 6, man.
Shit,
Come on,
crazy.
man.
Crazy, dog.
I just want the toy, man. You know that. You don't
It's
have to
crazy,
be
but yeah,
mean.
just to touch on that though, because I know we've been and Jordan got to get in here, so we've been going. So just to overcome, pretty much to overcome it. Me personally, I agree with what Will said. Like I said about the stuff that's with you, you can't hold on there forever. At some point, you got to address it as yourself and overcome it for yourself, for you to become a better person, for you to live a better life, for you to achieve the things that you want to achieve. You can't hold on to that stigma for the rest of your life and use it as a crutch to be an a-hole. That's just our opinion. I agree with that's Will's opinion, and I agree with that.
Most
And but
definitely.
the one that I really want to touch on is addressing the people that you feel like put you through that trauma to overcome it, so you won't have generational drama that goes through and through every generation. People may be like, I have a generational curse on my family, and it'd be like, it's not even a generational curse. It's just generational trauma that y'all need to address. And I feel like once that's addressed, not saying it's gonna be peaches and creams going forward, but it's gonna be better, and it's gonna be a hard conversation to have because nobody wants to be told what they done wrong. But moving forward, and it may not even affect you, but it may affect your children or it may affect your children's children. So down the line, your name can be that generation curse, quote unquote, that you speak of, can be gone by the time your kids have kids and they're happy and they're married and so on after that. So that's the only thing I really wanted to touch on about that as far as overcoming that trauma and doing things that can help you and help your family going forward.
Jordan, did you have any quick tips, any hot tips to overcome the trauma in your life? Like, I know you were saying that you had to look at yourself and try to see how you were raised and how that kind of shaped how you acted. You said people told you about that a lot. So how did you get over that? Like, how
Honestly,
did you
bro,
overcome
I
that?
haven't. I want to be completely real. Like most of my, I wouldn't even call it. I mean, I know we calling it trauma, but I wouldn't say, what I'm saying, I'm traumatized and nothing like that. But some of the things that I got from my childhood, like I'm still dealing with it today, just because. I mean, this is how I grew up, like for really over 18 years. Like honestly, I'm gonna just say 23. Really, I'm 23 now, and I literally just moved out of my parents' house, so 23 years I've been in this environment learning things this way. So it's like it's hard to like break stuff like that and just break away from that same cycle. But just
Thanks.
it like really the
Preach.
only way to overcome something like that, bro, is literally you just have to take time to yourself. Like, I may be playing the game with my homeboys one day, and like my mind start to roam. They on the mic talking to me, we chilling, but I just take time in this environment to just like process who I am as a person. Where like instead of me judging what the next dude got going on, or like, what I'm saying, me trying to level myself up to the next guy, like, well, he got this and I don't have this, so I'm failing in life. Like, none of that. Just taking time to myself to realize, well, these are your faults. This is what you're good at. Woo woo. Like, just taking time to myself to think about me and what's going on with me, and just like reflect. That's really all I can say is reflect. Like, reflect on yourself, see where your shortcomings are, try to find the root of that problem, like you were saying, Matt, and work on it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, boy, that's some good Yeah, boy,
That's
that's
golden.
some good self reflection, boy. Hey,
That
I'm
is
giving you a standing
golden.
You
ovation
are
right now
funny.
in my mind.
That's the word. That's the word of
Y'all
the
boys
day.
funny.
That's the word of the
Y'all boys
day.
is funny.
Ah, no,
Self-reflection,
you, what you did though,
introspection.
you just admitted that you still going through what you going through, and you ain't reached that point yet. You just trying to give advice to the next man while saying I'm still going through it myself, and this is how I'm dealing with it. So I
Yeah, facts,
respect that
facts.
because it's
Yeah, big
way
time.
easier said than done. It's way easier said than done.
It is. It very much is. And it's like I think it's extremely like oh shit, I say this all the time, but it's extremely important what Jordan said, because he said that you gotta realize that it's a thing before anything. You have to check with yourself. You have to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because if you do not know that it's going on, how can you fix it? You can't. If you don't understand the trauma that you went through, if you don't understand that there was any trauma, if you don't recognize that that you've repressed, or you have certain tendencies that make you, like, basically hide the trauma that you went through, you'll never actually get over it. You'll never actually know what's going on with you if you don't actually take time and reflect on yourself and act, dang, why do I act this way? And just chase it back to your childhood, or chase it back to your teens. Um, Everybody has those defense mechanisms that they just push stuff down, and they keep pushing it down until it just explodes one day. And that's what Matt was talking about earlier. Like, these kids, like, they have all these repressed feelings, to where it's just like one day somebody says something to them, and it may not be anything different than they've said to them any other day, but it's just all that stuff just comes pouring out of them. And that can happen as an adult too. You've pushed down so much trauma, you've pushed down so much of the bad things that have happened in your life, that you explode one day, and you just like, that's now your personality. So I think it's up to us to right the wrongs that have been done to us. um it's up to, it even says that in the Bible. You have to go to your brother or sister and make it right. It's not up to them. Even if they did hurt you, even if they did cause you trauma, it's up to you to go to them. So I'm paraphrasing, of course, but it's up to you as a person to first identify the trauma that you have had that has caused the personality flaws that you have. Second of all, it's up to you to go to that person if you can. Now, if they've hurt you in some way that is very, it's not good for your health, it's not good for you physically, it's not good for your personal
Move
safety, do
on.
not do that. Please move on. Do not you will not get closure in that situation. That would just make things worse. If you need to be away from that person, please get away from that person. If that person has harmed you physically, extremely emotionally, do not contact them. Do not do anything. You have to get over that. Get some counseling, or at least find it. If you can't pay for counseling, I believe there's some free counseling that you can find if you dig. Enough. I think we could try to see. I know definitely during this COVID time, there's some people that are offering some free counseling. So we can see if we can link some of that in the podcast notes afterwards to some counseling, if we could find it, of course. But yeah, get you some counseling, or at least find somebody that you really trust to vent to, that understands, and that will be okay with you venting to them. Okay. But allow yourself to understand what has happened to you, and you have to face it head on. Like Matt said, it won't get better overnight. It won't get better in a week or a month. It is an ongoing process. Jordan said he's still dealing with some of that stuff because it didn't take one day for it to happen and for it to build up. So it's not going to take one day for it to therefore just go away and disappear. But it is up to us to change our attitudes about certain trauma that has happened to us. A lot of people say that when you start changing your reaction to things, your whole world changes. When you change your reaction to how you react to things, then certain things just can't
That's
faze
real.
you.
That's stupid real. That's stupid real.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I think everything beneath me. That's what I be doing. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You say what? Say it again.
It's not like I'm understand when I say it. I'm not saying it in no cocky way,
Nah,
or
for
no
sure.
arrogant way. I just think certain stuff is beneath me. Like certain stuff is not worth me
Nigga,
responding to.
what?
Like
On everything.
yeah, so I feel like I'm above
Most
most
definitely.
stuff in a day-to-day life. I feel like I'm above it. Like when it comes to like negativity, I feel like it's not even worth my time to even address it. Like regardless of what you're saying, I feel like that's beneath me.
Nah, that's a smart way to think. That's a smart way to think about it, bro. That's how you
That's
how
real.
you make sure to keep negativity away from you.
Facts.
Everything. You gotta keep that positive vibe.
Most definitely.
Facts. So when people come in with all that negativity, fighting this, who did that, who shot John, I'll be like, man, I don't even know John.
Man, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat. I'm gonna go give me a
For
snack,
real,
nigga.
I ain't got nothing to do with me. And
My name is
people
Bennett,
think
and
it
I
is.
ain't in it. My
Oh,
name is
okay.
Yeah,
Paul,
I'm
and I
saying
don't know
people
y'all.
think it is. People look at stuff like that like you don't care. It's just like I care about my mental more than I care about anybody else's. So I'm just so it ain't got if it's with negativity, I feel like that's beneath me, and I feel like me responding to that is gonna bring me down. And why would I punch down?
Stupid. Don't make no sense. Don't make no sense. Like 1 + 3 = 5.
Exactly.
What the hell? What the hell?
So yes, that has been our discussion on trauma, childhood trauma, things that have happened to us in the past, how we experience it, how does it, affect us going on into adults, and how we should fix it, of course. So this has been I'm gonna let you finish podcast, and of course we cannot leave this place without telling you all what we've learned today. So, Matt Craig, you
I'm gonna
have
be
the
quick.
stage.
What I learned today is a lot of people deal with childhood trauma in a lot of different ways and a lot of different circumstances. The best way to address it is to address it head on. And if you feel like you need help from counseling, friends, family, don't be afraid to reach out to someone, to talk to someone, even if it's not family, even if it is a counselor, like Willoughby said. He's gonna link some counseling sites that may be offering free counseling. So what I learned today is, me personally, I may need some counseling myself. I never did it before in my life, and people spoke to me about it before, but I may actually need some myself. And a lot of time, counseling is looked at as a stigma in the Black community. That's a bad thing, but in actuality, it's not. So that's what I learned today.
What I learned
JordyGee.
today, open your ears. Open your ears and hear people out. I feel like that's the best advice I can give. Hear what people have to say and don't take no bullshit. And that's it.
You heard?
For sure. What I learned today is I realized that we have a lot of us, whether it be big or small, we have a lot of unresolved traumas that we deal with. And me just talking, I was thinking about like even the like little stuff. Like I think I was raised in a very, very good home, a very like open and conscious home. But I know there's different things like about like privacy. Like I'm a very private person. Like I like to think I'm an open book, but you have to ask it about me. I'm not just gonna put a lot of my stuff out there, you know. And I think that's due to my mom and my not so much my dad, but my mom just being a really private person and her not just really wanting to put everything about her family out there or just us out there, or her not wanting that for us, you know, because she just wanted to keep our house, our house. So most definitely, like when I operate on social media, like I don't tell like my everything. Like I don't put, a lot of the stuff I put out on social media is very surface. I don't really put a lot of like my feelings out on social media. So it kind of affects me today. It's not the trauma, but I can see how just things that you go through, and how you like your parents may like carry themselves, or how you just bring that into your adult life as well. So yeah, I see like we are our parents at the end of the day. They raised us. Their genetics is in us. So at the end of the day, in certain ways, we're going to turn into our parents, or we're going to be in some ways like our parents, whether we like it or not. Just make sure that most of those are the good ways, right?
Thanks. Shout out to my family, dog. I
Most
love
definitely.
y'all with all my heart.
Shout out to my fam. You know that.
Hey, shout out to my fam that ain't really my fam.
Facts. I can't say a last name because my family got a little bit of every name in mind. But shout out to all of them because I love y'all with all my heart. Real talk.
And that's real. That's real for real. So this has been I'ma Let You Finish podcast. Of course, we all thank you guys for supporting us on social media and with our podcast, listening in daily, and giving us feedback. You guys can give us feedback as much as possible. We accept feedback. If you think it's good, let us know. If you think it's bad, let us know. If you saw something, or you heard something that you resonated with, hit us up in the DMs. Let us know how we doing, all right? If you want to do that, our Instagram is I'ma Let You Finish at I'ma Let You Finish podcast, and on Twitter, ILYF podcast. Again, on Instagram, that is at I'ma Let You Finish podcast, and on Twitter, ILYF podcast. My name is Will, and that's it.
JordyGee on the ones and twos. I ain't no DJ, but I'm still on the ones and twos.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. JordyGee on the ones and twos. He ain't no DJ, but he's still on the ones and twos. You heard?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Boy, he brought it back. And that shit, as always, Showtime is out, a.k.a. your favorite podcast, a.k.a. Barack Obama Big Brother. Remember that, a.k.a. Ratchet City Hometown Hero. And if you ever want to hit me up at 281-330-8004. You heard me.
Call my Jones up on the low. Goodbye.
Boom. Hit the rolling stone with the rolling on.
Y'all better vote.
Yeah.
Y'all better vote.
Go vote, nigga.
Y'all better vote.